Today we're scrapbooking 2 special photos and getting inspiration from the November Sketch of the Month from Let's Get Sketchy. Welcome back to Emilee's Paper Caper, where you'll find inspiration to scrap your stash and get some pages done. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button and bell icon now so you won't miss any fun ideas. Now let's take a look at these photos and the papers I've selected. These photos were taken last night. My family surprised me with an ice cream cake to celebrate reaching 500 subscriptions on this YouTube channel. I really want to thank everyone who subscribed and joined me along this journey. I started the channel in August of 2018 and I've had a blast making friends and sharing some of the scrapbooking ideas I have with you on this channel. The paper I've selected here is a little thinner. I usually don't layer my papers, but I did decide since the paper was a little bit thinner that I would mat it, and I think this looks nice. I don't like wasting an entire sheet to create a mat, so after trimming a 1/4 inch off of every side of the red paper, I went in and cut out the middle of the blue paper, and I'll use that as a photo mat, well, at least part of it as a photo mat. That way I feel like I'm stretching that paper that I'm using as a mat for the page a little bit further. The ice cream cake had some really cute decoration on it. It almost looked like confetti. I decided to mimic this confetti and punch out circles to embellish the page. If you turn your punch over, you can see exactly what you're able to fit in, and even the smallest scraps can be used for punches. Some of these scraps were the perfect color to mimic the confetti on the cake, but they weren't quite big enough to punch a full circle. So I didn't really worry about that. I punched partial circles, and then because I have plenty of circles, you'll see me layering them and covering up the partial circle, or in some instances, I let them fall off the edge of the page and trim them off when everything's finished. I love using paper scraps, but I don't love organizing them. I actually have my paper scraps in a couple of bags in a big bin as well. And I like the process of just rifling through them and finding exactly what colors I need. It works fine for me. I know other people have their scraps organized by size and color, and I think that's awesome, but it's not something for me. I just can't keep up with it. So this is what I do, and that works. How do you keep your paper scraps, and what do you like about it? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Now that all the circles are punched out, I'm going to adhere the photos to the page. I am going to stick pretty close to the sketch this time, although I am working with 2 vertical photos rather than a horizontal and a vertical photo like the sketch calls for. I'm stretching this paper. It'll look like one sheet of paper, but I had to cut it in half so that it would be long enough to cross the whole page. I think this works fine. I'll skip ahead and do the glue gun off camera. Now it's time for the title. This will say 500 subs. I'll probably add a story about starting the channel and how the journey has gone so far. I might add that to the back of this layout. This page will go into my scrapbook about scrapbooking. Now this is the fun part, adding the confetti. The sketch calls for some embellishment in the upper left and lower right corner. I'm going to follow that, but I'm going to also spread some of the confetti around the page just a little bit, but most of it will be in the two corners. I want it to look like the confetti was scattered across the page just like it appears on the cake, kind of random. I'm using mini glue dots to adhere the confetti, and this seems to work pretty well for me. It's a little easier to grab a glue dot off that sheet than it would be to pick up the glue gun and adhere adhesive to every one of these tiny circles. Visually, I just went for it with these confetti circles until I felt good about their placement in quantity and variety. I added a few to embellish photo corners and help draw the eye through layout. One of my favorite techniques is to allow elements to fall off the edge of the page. I'm just showing you here how easy it is to do that and just trim off that excess when you're finished adhering everything. So there it is, the completed layout. I really had fun with this, and my family really surprised me with this cake last night. Thanks for sharing and watching today. Here are some close-ups. Until next time, keep on scrapping, everybody.